I mean, I don't mind talking about. I mean, we don't mind talking about dick.
We all don't mind talking about it.
Right, exactly.
But when it comes down to it, we'd like to talk about some dick.
Right, exactly. Like to talk about it, like to look at it, like to smell it, like
I'm
to
just
touch
saying.
it, like to rub it between our fingers,
Ooh,
between our
yes.
toes.
Hit it on your face a little bit. Ooh.
Close your eyelids with it.
I'm weak. Oh my god.
Hey community, here's what's brewing today.
KEKE on Legendary.
Ask your aunties, can't measure up.
And dirty feet and role play. So get your cups ready and your house shoes for Minority Report. All right, here we go. Episode 169.
That sounds dirty, girl.
Hey, 169. 1, 2, 3. Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It is Auntie Kerel.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Jerrell.
And we were just saying this is episode 169. Hey.
Yes. That sounded dirty coming out your mouth, girl.
Yeah, because we always start like right before we cover, like, okay, it's episode 169. The order is this, da. And I just said it like I said it, but I guess there was a little sizzle in my voice when I said it.
Those salivate. Damn, I can't even get the words out.
Salvatory glands.
Salvataracious glands.
A salvatoration in his hatery, in his dancery.
Right, exactly. The inside of your mouth got wet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ooh, your mouth is juicy right, mouth.
Exactly. You know how when you say a certain kind of word or a certain kind of phrase, it like when you say it, it don't taste right coming out your mouth.
Ooh.
But then there are some words.
You be like, 69. Yes, Lord. Somehow it always comes back to sex.
Hey, Mama Revis, how you doing, girl?
Hey, Mom. And she probably like, well, how do you think you got here?
Oh my God.
That's the one thing my parents, especially my mom, didn't really have much shame about talking about sex. Like, it was very matter of fact, especially for her. I guess and my dad. Like, it was just very, like, it is what it is. Obviously, they had, like, the religious tones behind it. Like, we prefer you to wait till marriage and all that stuff. But, when they talked about each other, we knew what was up.
If these Bible pages are clapping, don't come a knocking.
I'm done. I am done. Clap for Jesus.
I was gonna say I had a whole conversation with my mom about
I cannot clap for Jesus.
Is that a new shirt? That's a new t-shirt? I'm just saying.
Coming out the gate hot today. It's episode 169.
Too much. Oh, Lord.
I had a conversation with my mom. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was like the day for the last couple of days, and somehow she took the conversation into the sexual realm, and I'm just sitting there like I'm not adding anything. It was like, wow, okay.
It is a little awkward to have those conversations with the parents.
I mean, what am I supposed to say?
What was she saying that would like turn sexual?
No, I mean, not that she was like, telling me like about positions and things that she was into or whatever. Not kind of like that. This is. Yeah.
I'm done.
It was actually a pretty innocent conversation. She was actually talking about how she doesn't have sex has never been a super motivator for her, and you know, it wasn't a driver for her. She doesn't have like a huge sex. She's never had a huge sexual appetite. So when she dated, the whole premise was like when she dated people or whatever, you know, it was never like, oh, I have to get with him because I want to sleep with him, whatever. She was like more of the, I'm interested in that person, who they are, and da 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 da. But you know, yeah.
Was she trying to probe to see like if you guys were on the same page in that regard, or
no? We were talking about somebody else in the family, who's very sexual.
Yo was gossiping. Yo was spilling that tea.
I mean, you know, without saying those words, you know, I was trying to trying to Phaedra Parks that, you know. But Lord. She just kept going on and on and on, and I'm just like, you know. So when I was with this person, and when I was with your father, and when I was, you know, dated this person, I'm just like,
it's like, Mom, okay, Mom.
Well, I gotta take a shower,
right.
So
right. It's like big ups there. Well, see you later.
We didn't have the naked Cirque du Soleil kind of family at home life that Jerrell did growing up.
Right, that's some just like conversations. I'm like, oh, not at all.
He said, "I've been on that."
You better watch yourself popping that grease over there. You're gonna burn your nether regions. Like, girl, this stuff ain't doing nothing.
We knew you didn't go.
You
in
knew
the
better on that, right?
You knew better. You knew better to be in the kitchen without no clothes on.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you go to somebody's kitchen that is supposed to be clean. You go in that kitchen.
Ooh.
Don't go in there with no dirty clothes on, no dirty shoes on. Like,
Period.
Don't bring your outside jacket into the kitchen. Like,
your play clothes. You got your house clothes.
Your play clothes. Yeah. Exactly.
I put this on the stories today. Do you call them slippers or house shoes?
House shoes.
Well, I don't have any, so.
Fizz does. Actually, it's funny. I was telling him I'm gonna throw his away because I was yelling at him last night before bed because he likes to drag his feet, and we got hardwood floor, so you hear. And I'm like, pick up your feet, and then he just doing it for fun, just sitting there, and I'm like,
he was drum major in there. Oh, you want me to pick up my feet? I got you to pick up your feet.
I told him he gonna go to dodgeball one night, and he gonna come home. They gonna be gone. I said, I'm throwing mine away, so you don't even wear mine. Ain't gonna be no house.
Those are fighting words, though. To throw away a man's house shoes.
I bought them.
That's some fine words.
I bought them.
I'd be upset. I would be in my feelings. I call them house shoes too.
I bought them, both of them, so I can throw them away.
Do you walk around normally in house shoes, socks, or barefoot? Normally.
Socks.
Normally barefoot, but in this house it's more house shoes. Just, I don't know. There's something about the texture of these floors that are just a little weird to me. Like, you feel grittiness if like in dust, and like when you have a dog that tracks in dirt and all this stuff. For some reason, these floors, I feel it more. So I've been wearing my house shoes way more in this house than I ever have.
Yeah. I always wear socks.
Yeah.
So it can be the dead of summer, like
I don't like socks.
145 degrees, and I'll be wearing socks. I'm not walking around my house with like I hate when I like even get out of the shower and like them little 5 seconds before I go to put my underwear and my socks on, like just walking around, you know. I don't like that at all.
You know why? You know why it is for me? And all white people ain't like this, but I met a white person one time who just
he had the preference.
There we go.
Because it wasn't black folks. Normally we have on shoes and house socks, you know, and they just had like some dark, dirty bottom feet. I'm like, you need to put something on your feet. You know the image that I'm talking about.
Girl.
Look,
that's white people a lot. That's white people a lot. They feet be dirty, and I'm not trying to shade y'all listening. I'm not trying to shade y'all.
He does strike a chord with Dawon.
The only reason I was watching this porn.
Get out.
169, episode 169.
I was watching this porn like like a couple of days ago, and I couldn't get over the fact of how dirty the guy's feet were. Like when the legs went up, and you saw you saw the soles of his feet, and you saw that, just
yes,
that caked on this.
I saw a porn like that once too, and it did.
Looking like Bam Bam.
I was like,
looking like Fred Flintstone.
Girl. No, and every time I walk around barefoot, that's all I can think of is my feet looking like that. And let me tell you, I also gotta say, I don't like feet to begin with, so I don't even want to see your feet to begin with. And then if I see your feet and it look like that, oh no,
it's a wrap.
No, throw the whole body, throw the whole person away, throw the whole person away.
The whole person away.
Like,
but some people's feet, and I'm sorry, y'all white people, just something about y'all.
Y'all feet just attract dirtiness.
But they will put them anywhere. Y'all seen that viral video of that chick that put her feet up on the seat in front of her chair, and then every time, I don't know what it is, but every time I'm on the highway, I invariably always see at least 8 white people in different cars that have their feet either up on the dash or out the fucking window, and I'm just like, what is you? I mean, what is wrong with your feet that you gotta air them out and that you have to suntan them? Like, what is?
That's funny.
Put them things away. And they called us savages. I mean,
you right. Right. Yeah, I don't care for socks. And then I don't know if it's like a genetic thing or something, because like me, my sister, and my brother maybe lesser to an extent. I think he wears socks way more. But me and my sister for sure, we don't like the feeling of socks. Like I can't sleep. I definitely can't sleep with socks on. Like if my feet are cold, I'll be like, okay, let me throw some socks on if I don't feel like wearing the house shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
But just sleeping socks? Hell no. Like I'm burning up already thinking about that thought.
Really?
Oh no, I can't do it.
I won't sleep in socks. I won't sleep in socks. I won't fuck in socks, but I won't walk around the house.
You gotta have some socks on.
Yeah. I'm not even putting shoes on without no socks. It ain't happening.
Oh, I'll wear shoes with no socks.
No, bitch, get a flip flop. I will wear a flip flop there, but I'm not gonna wear no tennis shoes without no socks.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
I do. I just don't care for socks that much.
Look, and I can see her putting that gold bond in her shoes too, being like, gold bond.
You be stepping and be like clouding up.
Look, not road runner.
Got them Scooby running in place. Oh man, that's funny. Community, do you like socks, house shoes, or barefoot? Let us know.
We about to get a whole bunch of feet pictures. That's what we about to get.
Don't send them to me.
I'll look.
Don't send them to me.
Put the feet with something else. This episode 169. We want the good pics.
You can DM them to @IamKerel, but
right. Exactly. Let's be specific.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, if I get a whole bunch of dirty ass feet in my DMs next week, I'm gonna be mad as hell.
I hope people just send it out of spite. Be like, here you go.
People be running outside, stuffing in dirt just to take a picture.
Fuck your couch.
It's gonna be all number white feet. That's all it's gonna be.
Right, exactly.
Oh man. That's funny. I don't even know how we got on this, but
it was me.
If it's your first time here, welcome to Minority Report. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh God, I'm crying.
Oh, too much. But before we were hopping on, Dawon, you were saying like, is there any like new music or anything that anyone's listening to? And there's not much out. Like I was saying, like that new Chloe song is out with the video, but she looking extra thick and delicious.
Really?
I know. The whole choreography and the routine is fire too.
Yes, she's shaking. She's throwing ass. She is throwing
she
ass.
She is throwing ass and pussy.
And that, I was like,
damn.
Well, damn.
She is. She was popping pussy. I was like, ooh, your mama saw this video.
It was cut, and I was here for it.
I was here for it too.
I was here for every bit of it.
But the real question is, did Auntie Tina Knowles share it?
She did. That's how I saw it first. That's how I saw the first clip.
Yep.
Because Auntie Tina be sharing everything.
She sure do. She sure do. Come on, Auntie Tina Knowles. Or not even Tina Lowry or something like that now.
Lawson.
Lawson. There we go. One of them L's. But outside of that, I probably listen to more rap than YouTube, but I like that new Pusha T album. That new Pusha T album's pretty fire.
I like that Plan B by Megan Thee Stallion. I've been bumping that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, did you see her with the Gayle interview too? She out here talking about it. It's good. It's a good interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, she told like what happened that night. Like how she got shot and everything.
Yeah, well, there were some pictures that went around on the internet too, of some of the bullet fragments that were in her.
She said it's still in there.
Yeah,
she said she still has fragments in her feet.
There we go.
Yeah. But people want to talk about that it didn't happen though. I'm like, well.
And she explains why she lied about it. It is all, and it is so true. Like, and I guess maybe spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen the interview. She was just saying she felt like, because she said it was literally around the whole George Floyd thing. She's like, what it looked like, we have a hot gun in the car. It's a black dude and a bunch of black people. She's like, I didn't want no one to die. She was like, literally, here I am, got shot, and I'm still trying to protect this dude that shot me because I didn't want, she's like, I still didn't want to see them die. So I told them I had stepped on glass. And I guess the only way that it came out that she had actually got shot is right when the cops took her to the hospital. They were about to leave, and the doctor came in and said, these are like bullet like fragments in your feet and not glass, right? And the cops heard it, and so that's why it blew up to even bigger. Yeah. Wow. So she said even then she was trying to like protect them, but she was like, I get shot by this dude, and she's like, all he had to say was, "Oh, don't tell anyone. I'll give you $1 million. Don't tell anyone." And she's like, how is that the first thing in your mind? And here I am bleeding. You're not even checking that I'm okay or anything. You're talking about giving me $1 million. And she said, it's fucked her up since. She's like, this is crazy. She's like, this was my friend. She's like, these were my friends. She's like, and that was like what you were thinking. And she's like, it's fucked me up since. And I was like, dang, that is crazy. So no, watch the interview if you haven't. It's a good bit. And Gail's kind of like the new cool Oprah. Like I like her interview style because she like it's a little more black.
Yeah, it is.
Oprah was like, and I don't blame Oprah because Oprah had to do what had to be done during that time to do, so to open a lot of doors for everybody and herself. Yeah. But Gail's like, you know what? We already in here. I'm 60-something years old. I ain't got to act no kind of way. I'm gonna ask the questions I want to ask, and say it kind of the way I want to say it. So it was a good interview. So watch it. But that Plan B is dope. What else is there? It's kind of a lull right now. Like I guess we'll start picking up for these summer songs soon enough.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, when is the next verses coming up? Because for a while that was like hot. Now it's like
they did the BB and CC and Mary Mary for Easter Sunday. That was good actually. People be forgetting that Mary Mary got some hits.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of hits.
There was a lot of shade going on in that. In their exchange. And I'm just like, I'm not into, the church music like that. So I don't know the histrionics of it all. Yeah. Maybe there was an extra book of Revelations that,
I think they both want to let people know we're from Inglewood and Detroit. Don't get it twisted at the end of the day.
It's weird because it was just like, he was coming for them, and I'm just like, but why?
I think that's BB Wine is being BB Wine.
I had to check myself and I just had to check myself again because I wanted to be like, but you a man, but that's gender bias. You know, it don't even matter that he's a man, but at the end of the day, he should just have been, you know, demonstrating the true values of Christianity and the spirit in which the competition and the show
this
was.
spirit from Detroit. This spirit a little different. He said this spirit a little different.
You ain't gonna come in here with no raggedy shoes.
We from Inglewood,
Right.
so this spirit a little different too. We love some Jesus, but we know where we grew up at.
These ain't just praise hands.
Period. It's like these hands strong from tambourine playing. Don't play me. This grip is strong. This grip is strong.
You got the Holy Spirit.
I'm just saying, got that Holy Spirit grip. Play if you want to. Just play if you want to. But CeCe Winans is so pretty still. I'm like, CeCe is pretty. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't seen any other
beautiful to
verses
see
come
that.
up. Yeah, it was dope to see that.
Is
One of
there
the verses
is there
that I saw come out was
which one?
It was by these white drag queens in California that turned a night at a gay club to a versus, literally spelled just how we spell versus.
Oh Lord.
So we can't have shit. Not for these drag queens, these two white drag queens in California to take the versus thing and be like, oh, now we're gonna do something like that.
So what did they even do?
Time to move on.
Girl.
Right.
Like,
were they trying to perform?
Yeah, they just lip syncing against each other.
Mm.
I said, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's a watered down drag.
Girl.
That's like that Instagram story that was going around. It was those white chicks in the workout room, and they was doing the little workout routine, and then it went to the black one.
Yes!
Oh yes.
Oh my god, that had me. I watched that probably like 10 times. They were like, and the black was like, man. I was like, I know that's right, bitch.
See, that's when you know it's time to go. That's when you know the trend is over. That's when you know it's time to exit. As soon as they start copping some stuff that we do, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like time to move on.
Yeah, let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. But I guess they I mean, for TV, they have Legendary 3 coming out, season 3 coming out here. So
Yes.
And I have to admit, I need to give up my black gay card. I have not seen the full seasons of either 1 or 2. Like I've seen like episodes here and there. You know how I am with TV. I'll be struggling.
I mean, number one, this is just a great way to support, television that's showing, people of color most specifically.
For sure.
And this is, again, like RuPaul's Drag Race is a watered down version of drag. I mean, it's still drag, but it's still like, it's for the masses. It's entertainment or whatever. And this is the same way. It's a watered down version of the ball scene or whatever. And it's entertainment and whatnot. I would be of the mindset that you don't have to be committed to watching everything in order to continue to have your black card.
Right.
Yeah. This is just more something like you do just to like help with the numbers to make sure that we can have that representation still on the TV, if that makes sense. I mean, some performances I'm like, okay, bitch, y'all turn out like y'all ate. Like I'm like, damn. And sometimes I'd be like, ooh, maybe who put that?
I would say more numbers than not.
Oh, damn.
It's a little. I mean, this is not a knock against the show or whatever. I mean, it's definitely entertaining, but I always find that when it's kind of like America's Got Talent or whatever, like when the talent comes out, and I don't really watch those kind of competition shows anyway, but when they come out originally to do like their raw version, they're doing their audition.
Yeah.
I always find that part of it the most dynamic and interesting. It's when they get to like whatever the semifinals or whatever, when they have to do these productions and whatnot, that there's something in the translation that gets missed between who they are as an artist and then when you put to production behind. Now, some of them, the production elevates, which is really cool to see. But most times,
yeah,
because sometimes with
50,
like,
50.
oh, good. And sometimes like even with the ball scene, sometimes it's like you have to be there. There's something about the energy of being there and seeing it in person, and you hyping that person up, they hyping you up, and that sometimes it's hard for it to transcend through TV, you know.
Yeah.
Because what they'll do is they'll almost overdub some of it so that it starts sounding a little fake, and you know. Yeah. And so it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But then there's a few groups that come and you're like, oh, okay, they know how to do it for TV.
I think the biggest issue with the show is their editing. Like they cut so much that you don't get to see it in its entirety. So then you find yourself being like, okay, like, did they fuck up, or am I seeing the third time of this mixed with the first time of it?
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I don't necessarily like about it, because it takes away from some of that realness that you mentioned, Kerel, that being there at an actual ball. But I will say though, every now and then though, like when you can see the choreography itself can speak for itself, and you be like, ooh, bitch,
they killed it.
You be sitting there, you be like, bitch, you sitting there, bitch. Hey, bitch.
Trying to learn the whole routine.
Okay, bitch.
I mean, look, that was me anytime Teachy like took the stage, and how they got like booted off early was just an absolute travesty. I will live and die on that sword. But it's so wild because, I mean, they're paying the judges so much money to be there, but it's like what I don't like is when they have these shows and then they cut in the middle of the performance to show you the judge. And I'm like, we trying to see that. We trying to see what they do.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have their own time to kind of like have their moment afterwards. So why are they cutting away from the performance, which is supposed to be the highlight, you know, to like show they're just sitting there.
Right.
Like,
I don't care about what KEKE got on. It's like, I do,
or
but not in this moment.
or at least do a split screen so you can still see the performance while you're still showing, whoever else.
There's one angle they have where like the camera's behind the judges and you can see like the judges sitting there and you can see the whole runway. That's my favorite angle, because I'm like, okay, but you can see the whole stage. You can see the judges' reactions. And it's the same thing from the end of the runway when you're looking at where like the back of the stage is, you can see the judges on the side and you can see everything too. Those are my two, but every now and then it'll be like one person, voguing or doing whatever the category is, and then it'd be like everyone, then it'd be like another person, then it'd be like a judge, and it'd be like everyone, and it's cuts
too much
all over the place.
It's too much.
I think the TV's now, like HBO Max and everything, since everyone's streaming now, they have the opportunity now to provide us different angles, like almost to pick and choose our journey of what we want to see. Like throw the regular episode out there, like the way you want to edit it, but then you already have all the camera angles. I want to see this episode from this camera angle. I want to see the episode from that camera angle. That would be property of Minority Report. If somebody do that, y'all better credit me and give us some coin. But I think like it's just like you don't have. Like, there's so much room out there now on Netflix and the cloud and everything. It's like, give us options now, because we might not like the way that you edited this damn episode.
I do like the fact that this season is, like post out of like a lot of the COVID restrictions, because last season they didn't do the one, like they had the one-on-one, like the face-offs or whatever, but they had to stay so far apart. They couldn't do the actual challenge, you know, where what was like so iconic was that one in season 1 when I forget who they were, but
yes,
they were the superhero one.
Yep.
And that's the stuff I'm waiting for. Like, and they
Yes.
better not be cutting away to no damn judges when that shit is going down,
Yes,
because
I
they
swear
only
on
get
everything.
them 13 seconds to
Yeah.
actually
Right.
perform.
And there's an audience again. There's going to be an audience
Okay.
again
Yeah.
this season too.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
And that
will help
adds-
with the
That ass
yes,
stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because last season they didn't have an audience. They just performed in front of the judges.
That would be tough.
And having an
Yeah.
audience, I'm sure you just feed off that. You be like, okay,
Yeah.
bitch, I'm about to eat that.
Are you glad they replaced Megan with KEKE? KEKE
I
about to
liked
have a
Megan.
summer. KEKE about to be in everything this summer.
Let me tell
by the
you.
way.
Right.
She about to buy a whole new house. Okay, let me
Honey.
tell you.
Bless her, because
Absolutely.
she deserved
Look,
it. She really deserved it.
money back Kiki.
Honey. KEKE, give us some coin, honey.
Or come on the podcast,
Right.
you know.
Just come on the podcast. Let's talk.
I like Kiki. I
Yeah.
love her a lot. I think she'll be good. I think she will give more than what Megan gave.
Yeah.
And I like
I
what
agree.
Megan gave, which is like an authentic, like not necessarily a part of ballroom, but still gave you like a, you know, like a hood real like I like it. I understand this, you know, like she gave that type of critique too. But then also because she was new, she was like, well, I liked it when everyone else didn't like it. So it was
Right.
kind of but I feel like Kiki will still have some of that too, but I think she will say more, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I think Kiki will slay the fashion game down.
Oh, yes.
Period.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
that's what I'm excited.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we all know that she's a good talker. We
Yeah.
all know that. We've seen her interviews. We've seen, like, you know, we've seen her TikToks and her videos and her Instagrams and all that stuff. Like, she's just incredible. But this is a great opportunity for her to like just glam it up
Yeah.
and give you all of that, you know, va 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 boom, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing that
Yeah.
and to see the interaction. I want to see a little bit more fighting this year between the judges. I want to see
That'd
them
be
fight
fire.
for it. Mhm.
That'd be fine. Yeah, I think, and she might even give that little humor too. She's got that little humor side to her that, like,
Mhm.
you know, or she might even get out there and try a little trick or two. So yeah, like I like Kiki. I like Kiki a lot. But yeah, she's about to be in Nope. She voices like in the Proud Family. She's about to be in that Buzz Lightyear voiceover too. And there was like something else that I saw. I'm like, okay, it's the summer of Kiki. Come on, Kiki.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Absolutely.
Loving it.
So yeah, so I'm gonna try to watch a little more of Legendary this year, at least like.
Well,
week
don't
by
worry,
week.
we'll watch
So,
all of it.
Absolutely. That way we can talk about it, you know, and things like that. So, did you see that Elon Musk is buying up Twitter?
Oh, he already
How could we
did.
not?
Already bought Twitter.
Yeah.
44
Billion.
billion.
To be
Billion.
that
Yeah.
rich to bully your way to buy a social network, like that is fucking wild to me. That is wild. And I don't like to
scares
tell
me.
people what to
It
do with their money,
scares-
but
It scares me personally. This whole like free speech platforms, shit like that. Like we've seen when Trump was in office how dangerous that type of rhetoric is and what it did to the country. And I have a feeling that he's gonna play into that.
oh, for sure.
And yeah, I'm just like I said before, and this is kind of how and I said this about like the whole Will Smith thing. The internet got people thinking that you can say whatever the fuck you want to and there won't be consequences. Fuck around and find out if you want to, y'all. A lot of y'all about to really start free speech after words have power and they have consequence. And you say the wrong thing to the right person, you're gonna get got.
You're right. You're right.
I'm right there with you. I also feel like this could be a really poor investment on his part. He could be thinking that he could be doing like a good thing,
Yeah.
and then, you know, after whatever happens, because there's, you know, just because you own something, you know, you still have shareholders that you're accountable to. You have a board that you're accountable to. You have financial withholdings that you're accountable to. Da 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 da. So if at the end of the day you want this to be, if you're investing in this for this to be a viable business opportunity, and you know, and I don't know what his other motives are. it might not be that, because depending upon just how it shakes out, you may have a whole bunch of people that just may say, you know what, Twitter ain't it anymore. It might be an opportunity for another, so then you spent $44 billion on something that, in 2 years time is worth, $100 million.
Yeah.
I think he did it
about
Tumblr, because someone had said something like Tumblr was at one point worth billions of dollars, and then it ended up being sold for like $100 million, $100 million or something like that. Like,
we'll see. Right? Especially, and I feel bad because I feel like Twitter has kind of stayed at least somewhat relevant on the backs of Black Twitter. So let us leave Twitter and see what happened when we deem that it ain't it no more. See what happened. But I feel it's weird to me. Like he did this just to prove a point. And that's a $44 billion point is very weird to me. And maybe I'm just not that rich to understand, but to do a $44 billion point just to prove that you could do it, just to prove to get your way, is a scary thing. That now it's just like you could start companies to get so rich and I guess it's always been that way, because I'm like Jeff Bezos bought like the Washington Post, and rich people have bought all kinds of shit all the time. That I think people are scared about the freedom of speech in Twitter, but honestly, we've kind of lost the freedom of a lot of newspapers and things like that have all been bought up by either the left side, the right side, the middle side, whoever side, and it steers what we consume day in, day out, honestly. And a lot of people don't think about that.
We don't get news anymore. We get entertainment. We haven't been getting news for a long time. Ever since, PBS was the only kind of real news outlet that existed.
NPR might be the last thing out there now, because it's literally paid for by people that donate in the public. That's the only way they're surviving still. And that might still be the only the only lasting kind of hint of middle ground news, and just saying what the facts are, and you deem whatever the hell you want to take from the whatever the
topic is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So. This whole thing could just be, could be a business investment that just becomes part of the portfolio, and he has nothing to do with the day-to-day or it could be something that he does have something to do with the day-to-day, and a lot of the way that people interact with one another through Twitter, might be different. And then again, like I said earlier, could be a significantly poor investment on his part, because people will leave some shit behind. There are a lot of other outlets.
Oh yeah. Just don't fuck up my porn. Come on now, don't fuck it up.
Look, if we made the transition away from Tumblr, we can make the transition away.
What else is out there though that's that
the gays
free?
Will find a way. The gays will find a way.
You right on that.
Who knows? It might be Chase Bank. You open up you open up your Zelle.
It'd be on Venmo.
Right. You never know. Look, when this becomes a business opportunity, and you have to be ready to seize the opportunity. So, Twitter wasn't on and popping all like it is now with all of the sexual content, until all the stuff went down on Tumblr, and all the the sex workers had to go to a certain place. Who knows? It may be OnlyFans. OnlyFans may turn into a social network.
It already kind of is, because there are the free ones out there that they'll give little hints and things like that, kind of like Twitter is. But I ain't going back to the days of paying for no damn porn. I can tell you that.
Look, the gays will find a way to give it away for free.
There's a dick, there's a way.
And more on that topic.
Well, what? Let's take a quick little tea break, and then we'll get on into the Ask Yo Aunties.
Let's do it.
We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo
Aunties
got merch! Hey! That's That's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there. So go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find us at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minorityareport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself. Alrighty, ladies. What time is it?
Ask your auntie.
I don't know why I did that. I ain't a cue or nothing.
I saw you moving. I was like, I had to move too. So that's how we do.
Let's see here. All right, here we go. It says, aunties, I don't have a small penis, but it's not very big. And
Wait, stop. What a way to start a question.
That's a bar of a first line. Aunties, ... I don't have a small penis, comma, but it's not very big, and I periodically feel inadequate, embarrassed, worthless, undesirable, invisible, etc. Because it often seems like Black men, especially Black tops, are reduced to walking BBCs and have no value beyond that. I try to build my confidence and self-esteem in lots of other areas, but some days the internalized idea that big dick and big Black dick is the most important thing, and it gets me down. I don't have any other gay Black top friends to vocalize my thoughts around this shame. Any advice on how to deal with this is appreciated. And that's interesting because we've kind of talked in the past around just like the race play and fetishization of Black men and things like that, but we never really kind of got behind the just like maybe someone is actually internalizing that and feeling shame around these stereotypes that have been placed on Black men.
Yeah, I do feel like this probably goes above and beyond just size phobia or size shame. I do feel like this and I may be reading too much into this, but I think that there might be a little bit more of just accepting oneself for who that individual is at play here, because and take it from Auntie Chardonnay, she's a little long in the tooth, and we all have gone through some element of not liking something about ourselves and then using some kind of stereotype that's framed as a standard, right? But measuring ourselves up against a stereotype.
No pun and play in that word.
No, I wasn't. No,
measuring ourselves.
not measuring taping, but like evaluating ourselves against what we think is the standard or what is portrayed out there in the standard. And the reality of it is it's a stereotype, that and a lot of times there are, racial undertones that are driving these kind of stereotypes that do reduce particularly Black men down to a body part or a few body parts. And it's unfair. And, I think at a certain point, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can either, try things to make changes to your body, which I personally would not recommend, but I mean, everybody's different and that is an option available to you. Or you can just try to figure out how to embrace who you are and what you have, and try as much as you can not to compare yourself to other people and other stereotypes out there, because I am quite sure that no matter what size, whether it's, small, big, long, fat, hairy, whatever you've got, there is somebody out there
that's gonna want to suck
including maybe even yourself that will love it.
Yeah.
And to Auntie Kerel's comment, want to suck it.
I'm just saying.
And so, so that's what I would say. I would say, try not to measure or evaluate yourself against a standard that is, in your own words, you recognize that this is something that is a that is it's a stereotype. It's a negative, potentially negative stereotype that diminishes the humanity of a person down to an appendage, and that determines their value and worth within a certain community, because usually the only time we see BBCs is usually when it's WWWs. So
you say that again. You're right.
So,
and it's white. Yeah, especially on something you can't, like, you literally have no choice. Like there's no control of it. Like, like, it's so not something like, oh, I chose to do this. No, it's what you're born with. It is what it is, And like you said, like you've been working on other aspects of your life and yourself. I think the body part is a huge piece you need to work on. And I don't know how to start that out and then things like that, whether it's therapy or just literally just loving on yourself, whatever it may be. But to diminish yourself to a body part is so damaging, that people are doing it. And so to do it to yourself, you're kind of eating yourself from the inside out, honestly. And it's true. And I know I joke around just like saying, "Oh, there's going to always be someone to suck it." There's always going to be someone that finds you attractive. Yep. And the sexy thing, honestly, whatever size your body is, there's something cool when you cool with yourself that comes out that makes it so much sexier. That you're like, "Oh, this dude, he's cool with himself, and I'm liking this energy that he's giving, and it's giving me everything I need." For me to like want to hang with this person, be sexual with this human being, invite them, like marry them, whatever it may be. Like there's something, at least for me, that there's just this confidence that comes through of what rocking with what you got. And that, at least for me, and it's not to say that us as a gay community, we always joke about like the big dicks and the big butts and this and that. We all talk about it. And yes, I'm guilty of it too. But when it really comes down to it, at the end of the day, it's bigger than that, because to build a life with somebody, it ain't just gonna be just the size of the dick and the ass and the body type and all that. There's so much more to life. And when them bills come and when life come and when crazy shit come, the bill man ain't gonna care about how big your dick is. It comes down to your bank account and if you're a good person. And so, like, if just trying to just at least keep that in mind. And I'm sure you know that. And it's not to say that we all haven't had any kind of like body issues here and there, but just try to be as cool and be as forgiving to yourself as you can, especially over something that you literally had no say in whatsoever. Like, I don't know.
What do you think, Jerrell?
I got a lot to say. One, I agree with all of you. Like, it is, and I definitely think you have to kind of look inside yourself and find confidence in what you bring to the table, and know that what you bring is worth it, And I can say from personal experiences that I've been with people who have had some big old things between them legs and didn't know how to use it. And it was would never again. Would never again. But also been with people who were average and below average. And I'm like, woo, bitch. Where's my cigarette, bitch?
Right.
Woo, shit. Girl, I need a nap. Been wore the fuck out.
Got the wobbly knees.
Girl.
Ooh, not the wobbly knees.
Legs shaking.
Your thighs vibrating. Your thighs.
Look. So what I would like to say, sometimes, it's not about the size, it's also about your stroke game. How you put it down could also matter a difference too. So maybe instead of focusing on the length, maybe you focus on your performance. Maybe it's not about your length. Maybe you aren't actually just performing good enough in bed. That could also be something as well too. And
that's something you can actually change and work on.
Exactly. So I wouldn't say necessarily focus on the things that you can't change. Focus on the things that you can change, like your stroke game. And also maybe the people that you are also trying to sleep with, maybe you looking for some bottom holes, bitch. Like some black holes that just can fucking Kirby's out there just suck it all in, bitch. If that's what you looking for, then of course, look, bitch, of course they're gonna be like,
double jump,
girl. Of course you gonna need, you know, a foot long with some and then some, because bitch, she ain't got no walls. So, you know, maybe think about who you fallen into, you know, and that may make a difference as well too. So try not to get caught up in the stereotypes of what things need to be. Honestly, it's really that chemistry with the person goes a long ways. You know, now if you trying to just squeeze one out real quick, then focus on the stroke game. But chemistry, the person you're doing it with, and your stroke game could be a recipe of something beautiful. And then none of that has to be about the size of your penis.
Yeah. Well said.
I also just wanted to piggyback on all this. I think it's important to acknowledge that it's 100%.
I'm sorry, it's 169 in my head. It's all the way.
I know. We don't, yeah,
we should have worn her nasty pig hat. Look,
exactly.
I think it's downstairs.
But in all seriousness, I just wanted to say that it's absolutely natural for you to feel this way. So I don't want you to come away from this conversation being like, well, damn, you know, they just like, they just like made me feel like dirt for even asking the question. And it's really not that at all, because I think at the end of the day, what we're all saying is that, you know, you have to get to a place where you can love and appreciate who you are and what you give, and not define your worth by other people's standards of you. And I think that's the really big message here. The fact that you're questioning this part of, you know, how you feel and you're asking for advice, I think it's 100% natural. And this won't be the only thing that you will question about how you're wired, how you show up, you know, what your sexual appetite is, what your performance looks like, what your attractiveness is. Like as we all get older, we start to evaluate all of those things for ourselves to determine, you know, what are the things that we really like and what are the things that could be better, and what can we do to, you know, get to that better place. And part of that is just appreciating, you know, who you are, how you're wired, what you've got, and moving from that place versus let me see what else is out there. Because look, you can look at all the kind of porns and all the kind of OnlyFans and all the kind of things or whatever. You're going to see all kinds of shapes and sizes and whatever. And yeah, you'll hear a lot of people talking about big this and big that, but big could be anything.
Yeah.
Big could be really anything.
And big can also wreck you too, bitch. So be careful with your asshole, because we've heard some stories as well too. You know, I will say this too, and this is one of the things that I love about the gay community too. I mean, I know they do it in the straight community as well, but it's more open and the acceptance is a lot bigger within the queer community. But kinks, there are other things that you can do in the bedroom too when it comes to pleasure as well. That doesn't necessarily have to involve your penis. You know, you can do other things to make that sexual experience mind-blowing and satisfying as well too. So, you know, don't get caught up in like your penis is the only way to to pleasure someone. There are other ways. You know, have a bag of tricks, bitch, and pull out that bag and be like,
get that tool belt ready, baby.
Now, the doctor's in the house and go to work. Operation on that bitch.
Yes. And I hope. Well, I won't say I hope. Just watch where this messaging is coming from. Is this coming from external or internal? Like, are you soaking it in because someone has told you this and now it's gospel? Or have you seen a habitual nature of and it's probably the habitual nature because we've seen it too, we hear it too. Yeah. But just watch how you're internalizing some of this messaging as well. Don't let that take root as deeply, because you honestly might be thinking about it way more than anyone else is thinking about it. So watch out for that piece too. And then again, like Jerrell said, you know, there's a lot of tricks in the cereal box, bitch. And there's a lot like there's extenders out there.
Got
like
a whole drawer right there, bitch. Right there. Okay.
And there's a lot of sex places, especially in the gay community, that make extenders, that make strap-ons, that make don't let that ego get in the way of your sexual gratification, because you're gonna miss out.
I would also and challenge you to think about your own circle, because if this is the topic of conversation within your own circle and it's feeding into this internalization, you might have there might be some decisions you might need to make there. You might need to find some people that are a little bit more well-rounded, that aren't talking about that aren't talking about this so much, because at the end of the day, when you reduce a person's worth, and I get it, Grindr is life, for a lot of people, it's all about the hookup game, and, whatever you want to do behind closed doors or, or out in the streets is completely your business. But I would encourage you to really also think about your circle, because, the people that you keep around you and the people that you chase after says a lot about what you value. And if you're valuing external opinions and perspectives more so than who you are in your own perspectives, what, girl?
Oh Lord!
You know what song that's popped up? Don't want no short dick, man.
Okay, see.
Anyway,
I mean, speaking of kinks, there's a whole community of people out there that love that.
I don't know about that song. Love. And I would be like, that's me.
Right, that's right.
Love.
And that's the thing, is like, we all have done it. We have all been part of adding to that. So it's like, so this question is so real, and we're all guilty of it. So I get it. And sometimes you're in the mood where you want something big and nasty and girthy, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Hit me in my face, bitch. Yes. But if you don't have that, work with what you got. And that's, I think, the message that we're saying is just like, be confident with what you have, and don't let those messages put you literally down to a stereotype. Because you are, like you said, you're working on that. Your confidence, your self-esteem, and lots of other areas. Big that up too, because I guarantee you, when you feel good about yourself, that comes into your stroke game, that comes into how you carry yourself, and that is so much more sexy on a dude. Like,
because
way more sexy.
Because when you see someone,
that's just,
let me tell you, and y'all know this, like when you see somebody dancing, you see them hips moving, you be like, he know how to lay it down.
To tear my back out.
There's nothing good than when there's nothing better than seeing somebody like watching their hips, like, oh, bitch, you look. Plug it in, bitch.
Exactly.
Like,
and honestly,
these panties,
honey. and honestly, and at that moment, you're not even thinking about the dick size. You're just like, I know he about to be good in bed.
Yeah, and exactly. It's not about the dick size. It's just about like, I know this boy knows he got a rhythm, and he just gonna be like tearing that.
Honey. That's a bar. That should be a song.
Look,
that would be a bop of a song. That got my mind going. But yeah, and again, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, the gay thing. I thank you for asking us, that you felt comfortable to ask us, because you said you didn't have many other gay black top friends, or just even gay black friends. One. Well, it's like, thanks for, I'm team verse life over here. But just to have your other gay friends like that, I think these are questions and topics that we need to talk about in our community, because we've all heard them and have all been diminished to body parts. We've all been there, and it sucks, because just like, you literally do not see me as human at all. And bitch, I'm a whole ass human, and I got a lot to offer, and I'm not gonna give it to you because you clearly don't see me as such. So, but anyway, continue to say ask your aunties questions to aya@minorityareport.com, or DM us, or whatever, text us. If you see us in the street, see us in the Kroger, the Wegmans, whatever, flag us down and send us your questions. So that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. And speaking of that, even just kind of continue the conversation too, there's a new club, Dawon, that I need to come up to New York and go to. There's a new club in Brooklyn. I guess they had their first one in Harlem, like club. What's the name? Like Lambda something.
It was something like that.
I'm gonna.
And they were struggling. They ended up closing down.
Oh, really? Lambda Lounge.
They ended up closing down because I think they were like Washington Heights, I want to say. It was like Washington Heights, and which is a little bit than where I am, and they were trying to hold out. It was a small, tiny little place or whatever. They were trying to hold out, and then I remember like they even had like a fundraising campaign and whatever, and I sent them some money, and but they ended up closing down. Just kind of, it's just hard when people ain't going out. But now they out here. They out here
in Brooklyn now.
Yeah.
And it makes you like, and so the question has kind of been going around just the interwebs. Is it necessary to still have A, like Black queer spaces, and then B, maybe even just queer spaces as a whole, and what your thoughts are around that?
Ooh, whole.
Ooh, 169, bitch, 169.
I feel like, I honestly feel like there will, no matter how integrated, our lives become eventually in the future, I think there will always be an appetite for, whether it's called safe space or not, I think there'll always be an appetite for, like gay bars, lesbian bars, trans bars, LGBTQ specific spaces. I think there's just a vibe that, and an energy that you want. And I think there'll always be the appetite for that. My own personal opinion.
Yeah. What do you think of Jerrell?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. And I mean, I would even go as further as say, I also agree in the fact that we should have Black queer spaces as well, too. I mean, just because 99.5%?
No, 99.9.
Right. He kept on saying 99.5 won't do.
Yeah.
All of the relationships go in hell.
Of the queer community is white spaces. I mean, so many of the queer bars, whether they're lesbian. Oh, I'm not losing his car this time.
Oh, I was about to say,
keep car keys.
Don't lose the car keys, girl.
Lost the car the last time. Community, I love y'all. I'm a peace out in the episode.
Yes.
You go take care of that fire alarm, girl.
Absolutely. Bye, girl.
Love y'all. Look, that was Elon Musk saying, no, sir.
Period. Elon Musk like,
chiming into this conversation. I think not.
I think not. And come here, if you don't know, I forget, it might have been a year now. Last time that Jerrell's building had a fire alarm like that, he had it was in the middle of an episode like this too.
Yep.
And he leaves and lost the car keys. And then that just turned into a whole ordeal. I don't even know if we shared all the stories, so I won't put all his business out there. But so he's like, not today. I'm concentrating on these keys today. So Jerrell will be done with the whole episode.
That was a whole situation.
It sure was a crazy one. But yeah, like it's interesting for me. Like I think these spaces should exist. They need to exist because clearly they are still coming after the LGBTQIA plus community. We see it in all these laws. And we need to be visible and seen and be in spaces, though, that we feel safe, that we know they ain't going to be coming up here crazy. I mean, they still can, but like at least there's going to be enough of us to be like, try us if you want to. It's just interesting when I saw this and it was specifically just saying like Black queer spaces. It literally, I have not been in a lot of locations where there were specific Black queer bars. Yeah. So for me, I had to integrate to the other queer bars, and I wanted to go to the gay bars because I wanted to feel safe and seen and desired and all this stuff in the gay community. And so it took, honestly, I mean, I guess progress initially in Chicago was like kind of maybe a little more geared to Black folks, or at least we gravitated towards that bar. And then getting to Atlanta, where there was at least several options of queer Black bars. And even then, I don't even think all of them were Black owned. I still think they were owned by white people. So I honestly don't know if I've truly been in Atlanta. Folks, correct me if I'm wrong, if which ones are in Atlanta are Black owned as well. But I don't know if I've been to a Black queer bar that is also owned by a Black, hopefully queer person. And so for me, it sounds like the Lambda Lounge is Black and queer owned. So I'm intrigued to go because I would think that would be even a whole nother level of understanding what we enjoy and what we want to see and the music we want to hear. And if they have food, the food we want to eat and this and that. And see people that look and want to chill the way I want to chill too, you know? And so that's still intriguing to me that at 38 years old, I don't think that has ever happened still.
Well, just to be clear, there are quite a few Black-owned, Black queer spaces in New York City. And they are chocolatey delicious.
I know, that's right. They're chocolatey delicious.
The music be bumping, the vibe is right, the cocktails be strong, like, just like there are, queer Latino spaces, there are queer Asian spaces, like
you're right.
But I'm in Manhattan, so
exactly.
it's a little bit of a different story, than those that are listening from Wichita, Kansas. You might not have the same.
But I'm trying to even think outside of New York, where in this country, and maybe Atlanta. Like I don't want to speak out of turn because there's still I don't know who owns all of them. There's probably still very few outside of Manhattan in this country where it's Black and queer owned spaces like that.
Yeah. What I'm pausing because you see like I'm opening like opening my mouth and the closing. I'm trying to think about. Because you don't always know who owns the bar. That's what I was trying to think about. Because like there are definitely Black queer spaces, Black lesbian bars, Black queer gay bars, whatever. And they may be tiny little places, but they do exist, and a lot of them are in predominantly Black neighborhoods, and so like for those of us who have lived in like a major metropolitan city, in the actual city, whether it's downtown or in like the neighborhood, those are predominantly white, so those areas are, so there are places that are out there, but I'm all for, whenever there's community, if y'all out there and there's a Black owned space that of and you want to shout them out, go ahead and shoot us. That's the thing. You can DM me. Don't DM me the feet.
You can DM me both. I want both.
But DM that to me or DM that to us and let us know. We would love to shout them out because I think the more shine that we can give, the more free advertising that we can give, and let us know what city, and if there's a neighborhood, let us know what the neighborhood, and we'll shout them out on the podcast because we have an obligation to support our own community in these kind of ways. And this is just a shining example, of thankfully a Black-owned business that's coming back from the pandemic. So love to see it.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to, maybe when you come in, we can go together. You can, we're an hour apart.
I know,
absolutely. Hour apart, girl.
I'm absolutely down. And there's even a couple things in my mind. I want to do that. There's a new Black gay play that I want to see. Forget the name of it, and I was going to text you today, and then I got busy again. Hold on, I want to look it up now. But then also, even like the main Black bar in Atlanta, queer bar in Atlanta, Bulldogs, Blackity Black, and it's dope as hell. Great music, great vibe, energy, everything. Come to find out, it's still owned by a white person. So that's why I say that. It's just like something that's even just so well known, even in Atlanta, where it's like the queer Mecca, queer Black Mecca of the world.
I mean, BET is owned by white people,
right.
A lot of the stuff that we think is Black is owned.
You're right. Hair care and all.
Ooh, that just took me back to some slave mentality stuff. Damn.
So the play in New York right now is called A Strange Loop. The description, at least on their Instagram, it says a Pulitzer Prize winning big Black and queer American musical now on Broadway at the Lyceum Theater, LYCEUM Theater. And it sounds like it just opened. So I saw this and I was like, oh, let me text Dawon. Let's go see that. Yeah,
I'm down to go check out that.
Yeah. So
I was thinking about going back because they remember the race play. That came out before the pandemic. It's doing another.
It's doing another run.
It's doing a whole other run in the same location. I was like, oh, you know what? I would love to go back to see that again. I'd have to look at the dates, but I think sometime in like June, I want to say. It starts in June, so I'll have to take a look. But that was weird. It was weird and great, because the race play was about and y'all could look it up. It's just called The Race Play. But the race play was basically this. It was a play that had interracial couples that were going through a therapy where they were role playing the opposite roles, where the white person was the slave and the black person in the relationship was the slave owner, and they had to play out these scenarios. And
I'd make you just uncomfortable in your seat. It was
just and yeah. So it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah.
No, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
Well,
do you think that you could ever do that? Do you think that you could ever, like,
if they pay
reverse role play? No. Like, I mean, in a context of your relationship, do you think that you could ever role play like
slavery?
Yeah.
No,
because that just like we were talking about with the Ask Your Aunties, there's a person for, that's into everything. And
and I mean, shout out to Garris too. Like, he put a note out on his Instagram today, the day we're recording, just around just like race play and being called the N-word and stuff in bed. And I know episode 97, by the way, is race play. It's like a Christmas episode, but we got the race play in there too. So if you want to go back and check that episode out, and so clearly it's still occurring. Clearly there's still a lot more conversations that need to be had. And honestly, this episode is another one to kind of even expand on just that internalized piece of it that comes from these stereotypes and this weird, I won't say weird, but because I always try not to yuck on people's yums, but that might be the one that I got to yuck on that yum, because like, don't do it. Like, don't do it, because it's still just perpetuating these negative tropes that have been in this country for centuries. But no, that for me, and we kind of hinted on this last week on our 3-year anniversary. When I'm having sex and all that stuff, I really want that other person to feel comfortable. I like making people feel comfortable when we're in that moment. So that, I think I would be very uncomfortable, and I would hope the other person would feel a little uncomfortable, because that's just weird. So I don't know if I would be able to be in that moment, honestly.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a relationship where you, like a sexual relationship or relationship altogether, where role playing was part of your sexual repertoire?
No. And for me, it's not. And I guess maybe I just haven't been with the right person that it got me off of that. You know what I mean? Like, Corey and I don't do it a lot. And actually, one of our friends asked us that question like a week or two ago. They're like, "Oh, you guys don't role play?" And we're like, "Not really." Like, and it's not to say maybe like in your mind sometimes you don't fantasize maybe something else or something that, but like just in the middle, like, "Hey, doctor, I'm feeling sick, and come find my stethoscope." Like, no, like that does nothing for me. How about you?
I've never done it. Wait, have I ever done it? No, I don't think I've ever done it. I would try it though, but
really?
I would try it. But if I did, I would have to be. We would have to be like really committed to doing it. Like, this would have to be Oscar worthy.
Come on, Viola.
I was just about to say that, Viola.
Got the snot coming down the nose.
Exactly.
Home fences.
I want this shit believable. I want to see still in moment.
I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm the landlord, and I'm kicking you out. And I got a eviction notice all printed
and now you're
out.
outside butt naked."
That sounds like fun.
Exactly. It's like, okay, now I'm intrigued. How about you, Jerrell? And welcome back, Jerrell, by the way.
I am back. Yes. No, I've never been in a relationship where role playing was a thing. I don't think I would necessarily be into it. I don't know. It just seems like extra work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's just, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like, God,
And I'm not knocking it. Like for those who are into it, like
Oh, for sure.
I'd be curious as to be like, why? You know, like what about the
Oh,
role
I could
playing?
definitely see. I could definitely see. Like I'm fantasizing about it right now.
See,
I mean,
think,
like, but I mean,
here's a
like,
weird thing.
like Carissa, like I fantasize like about being with like other people, but not like a role of being like a doctor or a firefighter or a specific person or anything like that. Like, I just if it's not the real deal, like why? Like,
yeah. It's like,
but
bitch,
even like
do that scene over. You flub your line.
Okay, right.
It could be kind of fun to do, like, you know, like have different names, you know, for yourself and for the other person, and then, you know, do a scene where you pick each other up like at a bar or at a restaurant or, you know, like something like that, and then, you know, you play that out, and then you take that shit on home and, you know, bang their guts out.
Hey,
I mean, like that's cute. I mean, that's cute. Like, I mean, I like that type of form of like foreplay for sure. Of like, you know, kind of like that talking, like, oh, how you doing? You know, like I kind of, I'm into that. But I mean, I don't consider that role playing. Is that role playing? Like,
well, I mean, if you're not yourself, if you're like, hey, my name is Derek instead of, you know, Dawon, and your partner's name is, you know, I don't know. Chris, I don't know.
See, I'll be like, I don't fuck up the names. What's your name again?
Yeah, right.
Like, I'll be all be like, you know,
that could be part of that. Could be, but that could
Corey,
be
get your ass in the car. Come on.
Like, drop somebody. You know, drop your partner goes over to like the, you know, to like the, you know, to like some like, I don't know, like taco stand or whatever, and your
Not
role, the role play. No. I'm just
that's
okay.
I'm just
shit. I mean, you may be into this.
Not the taco stand before.
Okay. Full disclosure, I have
Salad
never done
works.
this.
Right, exactly. That's why she said the taco stand. That's not in her ministry. She don't know them struggles. She's like,
right.
I ate tacos. I don't know about her. That bitch ate air. I mean, I can see, like, when I think of role play, I don't necessarily think of like the costumes and like the, you know, like that could be a part of it. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I'm, you know, the private eye, and you're the dastardly evil person or what, like, and that's one thing. But even just like something simple as, you know, our thing is going to be, I'm going to pick you up at Whole Foods. Right. You know, so you go to Whole Foods separately, I'll show up separately, and then whatever, you know, it's almost kind of like improv, like whatever I throw at you, you riff off of, and the goal is to see if I can pick you up, and if I do, then I get them goodies. See, that could be kind of hot.
But I think the only thing maybe in that same regard,
that's too much work,
would be something maybe that we don't normally do, or like a position that we don't normally do, or like in our relationship, I'm 99.8% time more top, be like, oh, like, be like, I'm gonna top you tonight, and like kind of getting that going, is that would be hot, because then it gets your mind going. You're like, oh shit, okay, we about to do some ill shit that we don't normally do, you know?
Not oh shit.
Well, not oh shit, but like ill shit. So maybe something in that regard, but like the whole, I'm gonna pick you up at the Whole Foods and stuff. But like, girl, no, get in this crib and let's go into it.
Right.
I could get into that. I think that's kind of like fun. I mean, like I said, I've never done it, but I'm also like a sapiosexual, so I'm intellectually stimulated more so than I'm physically stimulated. So like if I see somebody, it's not like, oh, you know, I obviously, like, you know, I'm a guy, so I know people are attractive and hot and whatever, but like what turns me on isn't the physicality. It is the connection. It is the exchange that happens. It's the and for the most part, it's the foreplay. I love that. It's, you know, like all that stuff. So I could definitely see a world where that could take place.
Okay, come on, Adam. You know what to get Dawon for his birthday. Hey. Yeah, like for me, like I'm probably more. Oh God, how much do I want to share? I just it is what it is. I share everything. Like I probably like what probably gets me more in that regard is probably like say like we're out at a bar and there's like maybe like a little like play underneath the table or something like that, or you know, something that's like maybe slightly almost borderline inappropriate. Like we shouldn't be out here
I
doing
like
this.
that. Yeah.
Like that's what I like. Like
Yeah.
because I'm probably a little voyeurism. I like a lot of little exhibitionism.
A little.
And things like yeah, I know.
A little. Miss Mosquito bites on the booty.
See, that's hot though. That's hot. Like, that's fun to me.
That itching?
Meanwhile,
Well, not the mosquito part, the outside part.
Meanwhile, I'm taking a risk by going to Whole Foods.
Right.
This was getting sickle cell anemia out there in the parks.
Not sickle cell. I'm done with you. So stuff like that is out. Like, so yeah. I kind of like the like, or even like you go to anyway. Never mind. You get the picture.
I would love to hear from the community as well. Like if you've done role play and you kind of get into it, I would really love to hear, you know, like what your experience is, and you know, maybe we could even invite you on and you can share with us. And
give us some pointers, give us some notes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Well, anyway, so you got your keys, Jerrell?
Oh, let me tell you, I didn't even leave the apartment.
She got to the door and they said, "Oops, sorry."
No,
alarm.
No, it was still on. It was still on. I just put my AirPods in and just that noise cancellation.
There we go.
Although all of a sudden I was like, please don't be that dog, that meme with the house and the fire and the dog is sitting there like this. Because I sure did pull open my work laptop and I was literally just working with my AirPods on while the fire alarm was going off.
That's funny.
Done. But community, hope you're safe out there. Hopefully you're gearing up for your summer. It's May. Like, I don't know how that happened. Like, don't know where the first 4 months of the year have already gone. But hopefully you're staying safe and getting ready for a hot girl summer, hot boy summer, hot day summer. And till then, see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
All righty. 1, 2, 3.
Can I just say, we all have some pretty teeth. Like when we smile, I'm just like, oh my gosh, we have the prettiest smile and the prettiest teeth. I love it.
We do.
It's so
we
cute.
do.
I have noticed that too. I'm like, okay, come on. Especially like when I go through like the pictures every week. I'm like, oh, okay, because I always try to find like obviously one crazy one, but then like I always be trying to find the smile ones and stuff like that. Oh man.